The next time you need a haircut, think of the barbershop with a grand tradition. Williams Barbershop. Williams Barbershop, proud to serve the entire community of Eufaula. Come by to our new location, new facilities, and see what it's like to be treated in style at Williams Barbershop in the old JCPenney catalog store. There is another choice for making funeral arrangements. Central Funeral Services, located in Eufaula and Louisville, Alabama. With one-of-a-kind staff, thrives on professionalism and meeting the unique needs of families with a wide variety of services. Owned and operated by the Mixon family. Call 687-1060 or 266-5261. Melissa Mixon Smith, licensed funeral director.
The Gumbo Live, breaking the Gumbo Live. We're here. We're not at our regular place today. We're here at Thomas Bell Bonds, but today he allows us to use his place today. And I always tell you that Gumbo Live would be informative. And the main, got some main issues right now that we want to talk about. And I want to thank Detective Bradley for taking out time of his busy schedule to be my guest today. And what we're going to talk about today, now domestic violence is something that's nasty and is very, very complicated. But what I asked the detective to do was to come and just give us a common sense, elementary domestic violence. Just something elementary. That man, that's a great big thick book that talks about that. We don't want to go through the whole book. Just tell us a little something. But first of all, before we do that, detective, let me thank you first of all for being on Gumbo Live. Okay. And then tell our audience a little something about yourself so they know who you are. He's a detective for the Eufaula Police Department. Just give us who you are, how long you've been on the force, stuff like that.
My name is William Bradley. I've been in law enforcement probably approximately 15 years. I've been in investigation almost 8 years. And today some of the issues that we'll be discussing today, some of the cases that we do get involved in domestic violence. Okay. Depending on the level of degree. Okay. That is at.
Okay. Now let me tell you what I do sometimes, detective. So you won't think I'm rude. Sometimes you say something and it'll trigger something, and I butt in. So I just want you to know I'm not trying to be rude. Okay. But now you said something that I think that we need to start off by telling the audience. And then you said there's different degrees of domestic violence.
Yeah, the different degrees of domestic violence. You have domestic violence 1 to the first degree, domestic violence to the second degree, and domestic violence to the third degree.
Now, what degree normally would you come across here in Eufaula?
Sometimes we would come across all three. Normally, for the most part, domestic violence to the third degree. Third degree. What most patrolmen deal with.
Now, it is. Since 3 is higher than 1, that means that's the greater.
Now 3 is a lower level of degree.
Okay, it's the lower level.
Yes. Okay. And the higher degree go from first to second to third all the way down.
Now, tell somebody like me, a common everyday citizen that don't know a lot of big words. Define to me what would be domestic violence.
I'm gonna read from what I got here. Okay. Information that I got here.
So we get it from the book, ladies and gentlemen. We get it from the book.
Domestic violence in the first, second, and third degree. In order for a prosecutor to charge domestic violence in the first, second, or third degree, the alleged aggressor and victim must be in one of the following relationships: a current or former spouse, parent and child, parent or parents of child, current or former household member, and a couple who were in a dating or an engagement relationship.
Now you just told us something there that I believe most of my audience did not know. Domestic violence can be a parent, yes, and a child.
And a child, yes.
So that brain. Oh, okay. So let's talk a little bit about that. Let's talk a little bit about that. How, if I whip my child?
No, it's not necessary though.
Okay.
You may have a child that may be a juvenile, and him and his mother get into an argument, and the mother might try to talk to him and try to discipline the child, get unruly and begin to fight the mother to a point, and cause some injury to the mother to that sort. Just minor injuries, and the officers come over there and assess the the whole situation, and they can make an arrest on that juvenile domestic violence.
Well,
yeah.
They know that. Now you said something else that let me give you a scenario and you tell me if this is domestic violence or not. Me and my wife is arguing, and we're arguing so loud that the neighbors hear us, and the neighbors call you, and you come over. Is that?
Yes, that's a form of domestic violence. That if you're gonna have in most relationships, a couple gonna argue, and so if it's to a point to where your neighbors have to call, the officers have to come there to make sure that it's not to a point to where y'all haven't gotten physical, And if the officer go there and see that you and your wife haven't been physical, y'all just having an argument, just talking loud, he might give some advice and try to diffuse the situation. But if it's not to a point to where the officer have to make an arrest or anything like that, then the officer will take an hour report and notate that they did come out and spoke with you guys and the nature of that call.
So long as it's just an argument, then that necessarily don't mean that's arrest because that's an argument.
No, don't necessarily mean that officer will arrest you just because you and your wife is having an argument.
Okay. Now let's take that. Let's take the same scenario. We're arguing loud, and the neighbors hear us, and my wife has thrown a lamp at me, and the lamp is broke. It didn't hit me because I ducked. It didn't hit me, but she threw it at me. Are we at domestic violence yet?
Yeah. I mean, to the point to where y'all becoming physical. But once again, the officer will have to come there and speak with both of you guys and see if it's to a point to where anybody have to see if anyone have received any injuries or any kind of bruises, anything of that such.
So let me ask you this and see if I'm hearing you right. When an officer go to a call, he has a lot of discretion. He or she has a lot of discretion on whether they want to make an arrest or not.
Yes, he had to determine whether he had to make a decision whether who is the primary aggressor, whether it's you, whether it's your wife. And
she threw the lamp at me now.
Yeah,
she threw it at me. She didn't hit me because I ducked. I'm athletic and I ducked.
Yeah,
but now she threw it at me.
But if she had threw it at you, threw the lamp at you, and she caused some type of injury to you, and you responded back and pushed her, and
right.
I grabbed her to keep her from, and she fighting you, and you grab her, in defense to keep her from hurting you.
Right.
And the officer come there and see that you got some visible marks on you, and you got some physical injuries to you, then she would get arrested. I mean, the officer would determine who was the aggressor. And based on our training and experience, a seasoned officer can make that determination.
Okay, that was my next question. I'm glad you answered.
He can make that determination of whether knowing who was the primary aggressor.
Okay, that was gonna be my next question. I'm glad you answered that. So you are trained. So our officers here in the city of Eufaula is trained to recognize and deal with domestic violence.
Yeah, they are.
Now, let's say in a year's time, from your own basic experience, is there a lot of domestic violence called here? Or can we just say that?
Yes, we do have our deal of domestic violence call. I can't give you a exact number on how much call we received in a year on domestic violence. But we do have our deal of domestic violence here in the city of Eufaula.
Okay. Now, I guess it works like anything else. Once you make the arrest, then you have to appear. You have to appear in court.
Yes.
To witness.
Yes, the officer can make that arrest, and the officer would present that case to the judge and the prosecutor, and from that point on, it'll go through some type of court procedure.
Now, what about this? What about this? What about the scenario you just told us that would bring about an arrest? But once you get there, and me and my wife, we've actually been physically fighting, but we don't want each other to go to jail.
Well,
do we have that time?
Well, you don't have that choice of a matter. You know,
Okay.
our job is to keep someone from causing real physical injury to each other, even to a point where this person may cause death to them. You know, our job is to diffuse the situation. If we, and the law tell us that we do have to make an arrest. That's
Okay.
whether you guys say, you know, everything is cool.
I'm gonna leave.
And the officer have to go ahead and make that decision.
Okay. So now you said something. You said something. You said that the law says that you have to make an arrest.
Yeah, but it's also up to that officer's discretion whether or not he make an arrest or not.
Okay.
I mean, the officers are trained well enough to determine whether they should be arrested or not.
Okay.
You know,
Okay.
It could be a situation where it's just an argument, like you said earlier.
Yeah. But now, what about if we got physical, and you come in there and you talking to me because you said your whole objective is to diffuse it.
Yeah.
And I tell you, I say, Detective Bradley, I'm gonna leave. I'm gonna go get me a hotel room. I'm gonna get me a hotel room. I'm gonna leave, and you know, is that appropriate? Will that work?
I mean,
Or is that in your hands?
I mean, if you say you're gonna leave and you have beaten her up, and you say you just gonna leave, you just can't leave like that.
Yeah.
I mean, you're not gonna go to a hotel room after you don't physically beat your wife, and just because you don't want to go to jail and she don't want you to go to jail. It don't necessarily work that way. I mean, before the situation even occurred to where y'all became physical,
You should have left.
you should have left before then. You know, you could have easily got in your car and went away then. So you, at that point, if she injured, the officer come there, you're just not gonna leave. If you leave anywhere, you're gonna leave with the officer.
So really, it's more than just trying to diffuse it. It's trying to diffuse it and then enforce the law.
Yeah, and enforce the law. Yeah. I mean, and we have a job we have to do, and to carry out laws, you know, to diffuse the situation and keep order, you know, here in the city of Eufaula.
Now, I know on DWI cases from I've been talking to Mr. Thomas here, Thomas Bell Bonded, that you got to stay in so long before they can bail you out. But what about domestic violence?
Domestic violence also, you have to stand. It's a period of time you have to stand before you get burned out. They can't just burn out right away. There's a cooling off period that they have to stay inside of the jail before they can be able to burn out. I can't give you the exact
right, but there is a time.
But there is a time that they have to stay within that. But if you get arrested, you're not gonna just walk in and walk right out. You know.
Now let me do this. Let me remind my viewers that if you have any questions for Detective Bradley, as I always tell you on Gumbo Live, you drop all your questions off at the bread basket, and I'll be glad to get with the detective and we answer your questions. And if we have to come back on the air to do it, we'll work around his schedule and come back. Domestic violence is a hot issue right now, and one of the things, detective, that's the problem is most of us don't understand what domestic violence is.
Yes.
And most from a man perspective, most of us men think that it's unfair when an officer comes to our house because they put all the blame on the man.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, it's been cases where a female had been arrested for domestic violence. It's cases where the officers don't just come to a call and just say because you're a man
You're automatically
gonna get arrested. It's not. It don't. Officers don't make their determination based on that. They make their determination based on who's the primary aggressor. If that woman was the primary aggressor and you received injuries, then hey, she gonna go to jail. If that guy was the primary aggressor,
He going to jail.
yeah. And then it may be some cases where the officer may have to take both to jail because
Is that right?
they both gave as much as they can give.
Yeah. So that is time when both of them go to jail.
It have been cases where officers have made arrests on both of them, but we try to stay away from that because we know that there's always gonna be somebody that is the primary aggressor. But there may be cases where they both have just going at each other.
So the word the key word that you keep using is primary aggressor. That's
right.
the key word. That's the
right.
key word, and you determine who's the primary aggressor.
Exactly.
Now let me ask you this. Let me ask you. When it goes, you say about training. You say y'all train. Is the training once a year, or is it one time, or is it continuous?
Well, we do in-service training. We do in-service training at the police department on numerous things, and the shift supervisor, whoever the training officer, they can pick what case, pick what scenario, whatever educational training for law enforcement is needed. They can pick that, and so pretty much the police department's up on our training when it come down to dealing with situations like that.
Now, let me ask you this based on your this strictly based on your experience and your opinion. If there was anything about the domestic violence law that you would change, what would that be? Is anything that you would like to see changed or added?
No. We have legislators and lawyers, in Montgomery, at the Capitol that make those decisions. I think the way the law is right now, I think it pretty much take care of everything for right now. We can always add to make it better. Right now, I'm comfortable where the law is at right now.
So it makes your job all right. It does not hinder your job the way the law states right now.
No.
Some laws make it hard.
It don't hinder us from carrying out what we need to do to be effective in what we do on a day-to-day basis.
Now, let me ask you this, and I'm not sure that neither one of us can answer this. This may be a lawyer question. But now, does that stay on your record? Domestic violence, do you know if that stays?
If you get convicted, the key word is being convicted, and you found guilty, it would be on your record.
So that's a felony?
No, you got different degrees.
That's right.
You got different degrees.
That's right.
Domestic violence to the 3rd degree is a misdemeanor. Domestic violence to the 2nd degree is a felony. And domestic violence to the 1st degree is a felony.
Okay.
They all got different classes.
Sure, I understand.
And
much too numerous to get into right now.
And each degree depends on what you do to a person. Like say for instance, if it's to a point to where you and your board, let's say for instance, you and your wife y'all get in an argument and she stabbed you. Stab you and you almost died. Then, but
sure.
You turn out to be
attempted
okay.
murder, huh?
Well, we would charge you with domestic violence to the 1st degree.
Okay.
Because it was serious physical injuries that she caused.
Let me say this to you. You said something when we was talking earlier that I think a lot of folks don't understand and a lot of folks get in trouble with. And you was telling us about you was telling me about calling. How harassing calling folks, keep calling folks.
Yeah.
When I break up my relationship and I keep calling or passing by, tell our audience a little bit about that.
If you can harass someone if you've been in a relationship to a point to where at some point y'all was in a relationship for a long period of time, boyfriend, girlfriend,
right?
And she don't want to be bothered with you, and you continue to call and. It can be domestic violence, harassment, communication. It can be.
Say that again. Now, if you correct me when I get wrong, because I want to tell my audience that, especially our young folks, we got a lot of young folks out there who's dating detective, and they do crazy stuff when they break up. So now you just heard the detective tell us young folks and old folks and middle-aged folks, that if that woman leave you or that man leave you, you can't keep calling them.
Yeah,
is that right?
Yeah.
That's harassment. That's domestic violence harassment.
Yes, and it can be to a point to where they're making, you know, threatening calls. You know, calling them, threatening them if they don't be back with them. You know, I'm just making this up.
That's against the law.
Yeah, I'm gonna flat your tires. I'm gonna kill your car and all that type.
Right,
of stuff.
right.
But you know, you have had couples when they breaking up. You know, they make threats and they keep calling and being annoying to that person who don't want to be with them no more, and they can do a police report and press charges against them.
Okay, y'all hear that? That's very important. Now what about this? What about if I know where you work and I keep coming to your job? Is that
Yeah, it can
is that harassment?
That's harassment, and it can escalate up to stalking. You know, once they got numerous reports, it becomes to a point that you stalking that person, and then as a charge, you can be charged with that.
No, let me ask you this here. What about if I keep coming there and you working at Walmart?
Well,
now that's a public place.
Well, you have the right to go wherever you want to go.
Okay.
You know, if that person you was in a dating relationship feel like you harassing them and by coming by their job, you know, there's other means and ways that they can fix that by, you know, going and getting a restraining order, and you know, the judge can, you know, give both of you an order to stay away from each other. And if this person is doing her shift, say for instance her shift is from, you know, first shift from 6 to 2, then I'm quite sure the judge would put it somewhere in that order to say you know, you can't, if she work at Walmart, you can't be in the same place where she at, because you know she worked from 6 to 2.
So they could bar me.
No, they can't.
Based on her shift.
No, they.
Okay.
Yeah, pretty much on her shift. If she there between 6 and 2, and somewhere in that order say that you can't be at her job while she's working,
yeah,
then you have to follow that order. If not, you'll be in violation. The order go for both parties. You know, she can't come near him and he can't come near her.
Okay. So now this is very, very important to touch, because I see a lot of young folks. You know, they call themselves in love, and when they fall out of love, they do some crazy things. Now we can't threaten. We can't threaten one another.
No, you can't.
We can't. I can't threaten to do something to your car.
No.
Or your property or nothing like that. We can't do that.
That's
all right?
That's right.
It's against the law. I can't keep calling you.
No.
I can't keep calling you. I can't keep calling you.
No.
Even if I hang up, even if I don't say nothing.
No.
Can't do it.
Can't do that. You know, if it's to a point where you're doing anything and breaking that law, the laws that Alabama have forth, then you'll be breaking the law.
And can get arrested.
You can get arrested if that person decides to press charges and have evidence and proof that this is what you've been doing.
No, let me ask you this. Let me ask you this, and I appreciate your time, and I think it's very, very important, and I think it's so important that we may need to do this again, because I know a lot of questions are going to come from our audience. This is going to be on You Follow TV, channel 97, and it's also going to be on YouTube. We put it on YouTube, so it'll go all over everywhere.
Okay.
So people are to call us from anywhere. But now let's look at this. Look at this scenario real quick. Let's say that somebody is living in my house, and the girlfriend is calling my house. You better get that. It may be a call. It may be a harassment.
I'll call you right back. Can I call you right back? Yeah. Okay.
What about this? What about if somebody is at my house? They're living in my house. And somebody keep calling my house for you. You follow what I'm saying? And you say, I don't want to talk to them, but they keep calling. Can I, as the homeowner, do I have a case? Can I call you?
If it's annoying to you and they keep calling your house and you feel like they're harassing you and told them to stop calling your house, yes, you can press charges for harassment communication.
Okay, so now they're calling for somebody else.
Yeah.
Because they broke up with that person.
Yeah, but it's annoying to you.
Right.
to a point to where it's making you uncomfortable at your home.
Okay.
And you know, and in some cases they might even have words because you not allowing them to talk to the person inside your home. You know, and they may say words to you. I don't know what they may say, but whatever it can be offending to you.
Okay.
You can press charges.
All right. So y'all hear that? So even if Honey Boo staying with somebody else, and if somebody else tell you don't call their house, you don't call their house. Am I right, Detective?
That's right.
So, and I want to thank you. I thank y'all, and I tell y'all all the time that Gumbo Live is going to be very informative, and I think that I know I've learned a lot today, and I thank you for that, and I thank you for your time, Detective Bradley. I always find time to talk to us, and as a person of a citizen in this town, I want to thank you for that. I want to thank you for that. I want to thank you because if you see us at the game and you trying to enjoy the game and we'll stop and ask you police questions, you'll still answer, and we really appreciate that. I think I should mention that your son is one of the stars out there at Dufault High School, and we're very proud of him, and we're going to follow his career. You know, he's going to make you rich one day.
I'll make yourself rich.
Yeah, well, he ain't going to forget about that, you know. But we thank you, and we thank you for all that you do. We thank you for all that you do. And again, I tell you, if you got any questions for Detective Bradley, just drop them off at the bread basket. I ask that you would sign your name because a lot of times people, you know, I don't want no crazy stuff coming in there. So I want you to take ownership for your question. Now, before we go, Detective Bradley, is anything that you would like to share with our audience that maybe we didn't cover, or something you might want to emphasize that we did cover?
Other than, you know, domestic violence have different levels of degrees, and you have from first, second to third, and depending on what type of injury you cause to a person, is what degree of domestic violence you're gonna be charged with, and that's pretty much it.
Okay. I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna say this as a host. Because this is my show, and I can say what I want on my show. A man should never hit a woman. Now, Detective, I'm saying that. That's how I was raised.
Yeah, I was raised.
You know what I'm saying? I know they put us in some bad situations, but never hit a woman.
Yeah.
Call Detective Bradley. look what he said. Look what now. Tell me if I'm wrong. You said that if you come before we get physical, that you would do whatever you can to diffuse the situation without people going to jail. Am I correct by saying that?
Our job is to diffuse the situation. If you didn't get physical, you know, but if somebody got injuries or
yeah. But what I'm saying to the men, Detective, that before you hit that woman, call you.
That's right.
Call you while we're still at the arguing stage.
I'll just leave.
Yeah.
I mean, we are in control of our own self and what we do and what we say out of our mouth. And so when someone make you angry to a point to where you can't control your mouth and you can't control your action and you become physical, then before you even get to that point, the best thing to do is to walk away and leave and cool down. And then if you feel like you can't come back and talk about whatever you was arguing about or whatever was going to cause y'all to fight, then just stay away. Sooner or later, you know, we all human. Sooner or later, that person going to calm down. You know.
Don't young folks, don't be scared of the police. The police is here to help us. I don't care what nobody tell you. Don't be scared of the police. The police is here to help us. Am I right?
That's right. We're here to protect and serve. That's our job.
Protect and serve. Thank you so much.
All right.
Listen, you've been watching Gumbo Live. And we had a very special guest with a very special subject. Again, I just want to remind you that Gumbo Live come on Tuesday night at 6:15 on channel 97. And normally before, it's already on YouTube. So you can pick us up on YouTube by going to YouFollow TV 1. Thank you for watching.
The next time you need a haircut, think of the barber shop with a grand tradition. Williams Barbershop. Williams Barbershop. proud to serve the entire community of Eufaula. Come by to our new location, new facilities, and see what it's like to be treated in style at Williams Barbershop in the old JCPenney catalog store. There is another choice for making funeral arrangements. Central Funeral Services, located in Eufaula and Louisville, Alabama, with one-of-a-kind staff, thrives on professionalism and meeting the unique needs of families with a wide variety of services. Owned and operated by the Mixon family. Call 687-1060 or 266-5261. Melissa Mixon Smith, licensed funeral director.